We're initially introduced to these characters in their everyday job and their surroundings, the bar that they frequent, the locker room at Eagle Shield. And then as the film progresses and the story progresses, they find themselves in a hell that they pretty much created for themselves. And that's complemented by not only their emotions, but it's also complemented by the set. The sets that John Gary Steele built were really special.
Of course, we read the script, and we started scouting different factories, different locations that could be practical exteriors, looked at a lot of research.
We found a location in Fontana, an old steel factory that was falling apart, and it looked perfect. And we had to create a subterranean area that would resemble the exterior locations.
We wanted to build a set that would go with the stuff that we're shooting the exteriors of. That would be a cavernous, dark space for the heist.
We got 51 minutes to stash this money and then get Jack. Let's go. Come on.
And we look at sketches with the director, the DP, and producers, and then we also build a model. It's been a very quick build. We had a couple weeks to design it, and then we had 6-7 weeks to build the whole thing.
John Gary Steele had this great idea about just using different tiers and building almost like an Escher-esque kind of stairwell system in this subterranean area that was just shocking. John Gary Steele is someone who I hope I'm blessed to work with again.
We wanted to make it like an abandoned factory, and we wanted all kinds of different levels so that the director could have people running and chasing on different levels, cat and mouse kind of game going on. There's also stairwells going up to hatches above the roof, and we picked that shot up at a location where we add a hatch, and it's actually the steel mill.
We knew that we were going to be in a certain location for a long period of time, and we wanted to make sure that we could keep it interesting, not only through our performances, but visually as well, and by incorporating that Escher-esque kind of stairwell system and catwalks, it gave the set a depth that we wouldn't have had if it would just been on the floor.
I think I heard something.
It just had this atmosphere, you know, and it has a look, I think, that's so consistent with the film.
The transition from the outside and into the building, and it's seamless. Entering the tunnel in Fontana and coming into this soundstage, it's incredible what they've done. To some extent, it affects your mood and the grittiness of the film.
I had friends visiting the set, and they were really impressed. It looks like a very old building, but it is not. It is only talent.
This building would probably have been where the foreman hung out, and it's glass and steel, and it's actually made with real steel and a lot of concrete. The glass is tempered, and it's been made so that the beams that hold it up are placed back further. The beams and columns are placed so that when the trucks crash into it, the whole structure doesn't fall down. Just the bottom half caves in with the truck.
It's one of the most beautiful sets, and beautiful in a sense, in an artistic way, because there's something beautiful about it. It's all rotten and old.
We didn't feel like we're on a stage at all, you know? I'm really cut up from walking through the dirt, and from those small details to the grandiose details that they really nailed and brought home. So it feels nice.
Put the money in these bags, put them in the hole, all right?
This is where they crawl through this window on my right, because this will all be filled with boards, like it's all caved in from above, and they will crawl down, and there's a hole in the back over here. And this has been aged for days now, and then we'll add more and more layers between furniture and then tons of wood, because the director wants the door to be ajar, and they can't get through the doors or the windows here, and they crawl through a hole, and they've already found a place earlier when they were here pre-scouting before the heist to stash all the money they've stolen.
It looked really great, and Charlie, the set painter, does rot like no one else, so the whole thing felt and looked like it was just falling apart, and it looked horrible, and it was just the perfect place for us to be for this movie.
They kludge it all up with many, many layers of paint, shellac paint, and then they throw dirt on it to get the layers and layers, so it looks like it's been there for many, many years. It's all new wood made to painted to look like concrete. and almost everything is brand new except for a couple of the rented equipment pieces. Everything else we age. Our scenic artist, Charlie Bright, does amazing work and makes it all look really, really old and grungy, like an old factory. We have brilliant construction coordinator, Dave Elliott, who built the whole thing really, really fast. And a great decorator, Dina, and the art director, Chris Cornwell. They all did a great job.
It adds so much texture and story, but it helps. I mean, you're breathing the dirt, you're feeling the gravel underneath your boots, and it puts you right into the scene, into the moment.
I keep forgetting that we're on a soundstage because I've worked so many times in abandoned warehouses that have been converted into sound stages, and they often look like what this set is like.
Working in confined spaces forces a filmmaker to think out of the box and approach things differently. So I really enjoyed it, actually. It's humbling. I mean, you immediately understand the magnitude of what's going on here and the opportunity that you've been given. I think that the set is kind of like the physical reminder of, wow, this is real. Armored was a very, very different experience for me because though it was very intense and very intimidating at times, everybody just brought their A game. I was just reminded of how lucky I was.